Oh. You're gonna have to promise me that you saw some awesome music happen. That's it. So, Jujutsu Kaisen being theaters, really cool things, right? Because that easily just means that again we're getting more of these Japanese happening things, and that's gonna be good. It's kind of rough on the Japanese side of animators and how they like have to deal with like filling in on the jobs, but if we can figure it out, if it all happens, and if we're doing like this big circle where the ecosystem takes care of itself, then yeah, maybe we can figure it out, right? At least that's what I want to believe in. So just hopefully it doesn't spiral out of control. But we know Hollywood, Japan, the universe wants the Weemobiles, the Japanese stuff, and man, if it's good, it's good. Take care of it. That's it. Just make sure you take care of it. Looking at you, Tron. Life in the back and in the mist and cold. Look me here. If all things go well, maybe we'll play the openings, or we'll come back for it like that. That's a good time. Don't worry about it. Moving on. Jujutsu Kaisen movie happened. So theater time, maybe. But what happens when you don't take care of it? Cough, cough. Disney took it over and they gave it their vision. That's what happens. George Lucas says he's moved past his instinct to manage Star Wars 13 years after selling up. Quote, a force to be reckoned with. Lucas has said that he let go of this instinct to manage after selling the sci-fi universe to Disney. Now 81. Lucas sold Lucasfilms to Disney for $4 billion back in 2012, handing over everything from industrial lights and magics to Skywalker sound. See, that's the worst part of everything. Anyways, I love Skywalker sound. Since then, Disney has released a sequel trilogy and a number of TV shows that in the Star Wars universe, including The Mandalorian, Andor, and Ahsoka. Now he's opening a museum they spent nearly $1 billion to put together. Lucas Museum Narrative Art. It looks pretty damn cool. I've seen it. I've been by LA area. But what? Narrative Area is set to open in Los Angeles in 2026 and showcase a collection of Lucas has been working on for 60 years. That is super cool. I need to go there. In departure from his filmmaking roots and based on a profile in the Wall Street Journal, Lucas is keen for it not to be dubbed Star Wars Museum. Okay. While it does have the likes of N1 Starfighter that debuted in 1999's Phantom Menace, only one inaugural exhibit will feature the design of Star Wars vehicles. It's gallery out of 33, and I did it grudgingly, Lucas said. I didn't want people to come to the museum and say, where's the Star Wars? Hey, yo. The Wall Street Journal then asked Lucas if he has let go of his instinct to manage Star Wars for 13 years of selling up. Quote, Disney took it over and they give it their vision. That's what happens, he replied. Of course, I moved past it. I mean, I've got a life. I'm building a museum. A museum is harder than making movies. Oh, legacy. Museum is harder than making movies. Quote. That you can quote him on that. So it sounds like Lucas has indeed moved on from Star Wars, but fans often lament Disney's stewardship of the franchise since buying out. Star Wars has had its ups and downs since Disney took over in 2018. Solo, for example, it was a costly failure. 19 Rise of Skywalker sparked backlash from fans, and on TV side show things, Mandalorian and Andor enjoyed critical acclaim. The Book of Boba Fett, Acolyte, and Obi-Wan Kenobi looked to be one and done. Still, Lucasfilms is soldering on. Last year, Lucas suggested Star Wars got new bosses, got something wrong with the sequel trilogy, blah 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 blah. And in July, Lucas made his first ever appearance at San Diego Comic-Con to reveal some of the items headed to Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. A special video preview of a museum showed guests can expect to see Luke's X-34 land speeder from A New Hope, okay, General Grievous's wheel bike, nice, and even the speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi based. There will also be concepts of art and much more from the galaxy far, far away. Alright. Force is later retired, deadline reported Kennedy, blah, 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 blah. So, legacy, right? That is very important, and especially when you are given a legacy. What you do with it, what happens afterwards, how you mishandle it. Something loved and beloved like Star Wars, something that I have known for my whole existence, can go down the pipe hole once people just go, oh, cash cow, let's do that. So very sad, very sad. But you know, that's life. So, yeah. So good for the guy that he's able to actually invest in his own museum. That says a lot more about what your history legacy is. It would suck again, like he says, if they knew him for was Star Wars, and then now it is a potato show over there. And well, yeah, you can like step away from that and be like, well, we also had Indiana Jones, so there you go with that. But hey, remember how we talked about that one time Tom Cruise made a anime movie that in IRL, like a live action anime movie, that nobody talked about? Well, now they're bringing over the anime. So, All You Need to Kill trailer reveals January 16 opening in North America. Let's go! G-Kids began streaming on Friday. Teaser from Warner Brothers Japan. Damn, son. Studios has 4 seasons anime of Hiroshi Sakaga's and Yoshi Abe's All You Need to Kill science fiction light novel. Reveals that the film will open theaters in North America on January 16th. Let's go. To excuse us, we're doing a bit of a interesting. Actually, I might get flagged for this because now I'm getting in trouble for all these stuff. But G-Kids began streaming on Friday. Cool. Newly acquired anime in multiple territories, including North America. The film will open in January 9th in theaters, 10th in theaters throughout Japan. Okay. Voice. So maybe the original is based on the female, and for some reason Tom Cruise was the lead character. Because interesting. Tom Cruise, man, does it again. Funny story, interesting story about Universal Studios and the Horror Nights. I pitched the idea for Tom Cruise producing the Ookami movie, like, to Universal people. That is not a joke. Fuck yeah, it was awesome. Anyways, moving on. The film will open on January 9th and 10th to Japan. International Film Festival, France screened all of it in June. The film had its North American premiere in Fantasia International Film Festival in New York and Montreal. New York and Montreal, New York Comic Con screened US premiere on October 10th. And anime is also screened at additional film festivals, including International Animation Festival and Sebastian Fantasy Festival. Whoa, lots of stuff. The anime stars these people. Kenshiro Akimoto, CGI director, is directing the anime. Anime retells a story from a different viewpoint from the novel. Okay, so there you go. It's from the female's viewpoint. Very nice. Hollywood's from different viewpoint the novel and Hollywood's Edge of Tomorrow. That was the name of the movie. There you go. An Edge of Tomorrow film adaptation. I was looking for that this whole time. University student songwriter will perform the theme song for the anime. Akasaki specifically wrote the theme song. Original novel by Sakurazaka is set in future Earth under attack by alien invaders, snows, and mimics. Humanity's infantry goes into battle in empowered armor suits that enhance their deadliness, but they're still losing the war. Kenji Kiriya is newly enlisted soldier, but dies in the first battle. After he dies, he finds himself awakening to a time prior to battle. Having explicitly entered a time loop through a repeating process of dying and learning from his mistakes, he slowly finds ways to live longer and longer and finds himself drawn to an elite soldier named Rita Urataski. Shueisha published the novel in 2024. Viz Media published the novel in English in 2019. The novel spawned manga by Takeshi Obita and in 2014 and all this stuff. A novel inspired a live-action movie adaptation, Edge of Tomorrow, in 2014, starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Edge of Tomorrow made over 100 million in the US and 15 million in Japan, and US 3,700 million worldwide. Look at that, man. I'm telling you, Tom Cruise, you tell Emily Blunt to group up again. You have Emily Blunt be the who's a badass female character in Akira. Oh shit, some kind of war commander. Like, oh shit. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. She could be like the person that Kaneda is interested in, because she's a military commander and she's supposed to be like older age. Emily Blunt could just step in and be like, yo dog, you know. Anyways, dude, Tom Cruise, you don't have to be Akira. That's Ninja. Unless you take Tom Cruise, you put him in the Ocarina movie as Kaneda, but hear me out. Obviously, each name, you localize it, but you make very cute. This is by Wesley Yinpo. I apologize to everyone else before this. Over at IGN. Let's go. Sony is hoping to start the filming of its live-action Horizon Zero Dawn movie in 2026, but at least by 2027. Wow. Game Freak sent a spotted revelation court document filed with it accuses filed as part of Sony's ongoing legal tussle with Tencent over Light and Mortarium, accused of it being a knockoff guerrilla game, Horizon Zero Dawn. Legal document, placement production boss person, who is this? Said the Horizon Zero Dawn new movie has a working script, and Sony is on the hunt for a director. Plans to start filming next year and release the movie 2027. Quote, we are in development for a film based on Horizon in partnership with Columbia. Quote, we have a working script and are at the sky apparently. Are actively searching for director with the goal of shooting in 2026, releasing 27. Collaboration with Columbia and PlayStation Productions, film Uncharted and Gran Turismo. Makes sense. They also describe Horizon protagonist Aloy as a quote key icon in anticipated film and emphasizes her importance to quote to the flywheel of the franchise building. Sony announced the Horizon movie back in January. Okay, Columbia Productions partnered in. Okay. Sparking the stage on CES, Columbia Pictures and PlayStation Productions are at the early stages of developing film adaptation award-winning Horizon Zero Dawn. Quote, just imagine. Quote, just imagine. Aloy's beloved origin strat at the vibrant far future world filled with giant machines. Brought to you for the first time on the big screen. During the press conference, Sony announced that adaptation held diverse. What the hell? An anime. Get it? See? An anime series adaptation of Ghost of Tsushima. Anime, let's go. Question is, now who should play Aloy? That is a big question there, sir. But we got answers apparently. So yeah, if you didn't know, yes, video games, manga, and anime is in. That's kind of why we do this, what we do. We've been doing this since 2006 or 4, like way, obviously, since we were born. But the idea that we are at this point where everything is just kind of like synergizing, it makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, yo, this is it. Like, this is it. Let's see what happens. Because people are gonna people. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can build your legacy. You can have fun with it. But people are gonna people, right? Especially with the creation of AI and generative AI. I've seen the things. I've seen the Mr. Rogers videos. Shit gets crazy. Let's find out how crazy. Xbox Game Pass new Grinch game is receiving a lot of angry and horny reviews. Because Zack Swain has something to say over at Kotaku. Quote, he sat me down and bounced on that crusty it. What the hell? $30 for a month for this. What? Last night, as I browsed the Xbox Game Studio on the X, I spotted a newly released Grinch game, which is now available on Game Pass. Curious some players were receiving a not so great looking family-friendly Christmas platforming. I said to check out the new revisions. And I stumbled upon it was this war zone filled with slots of Xbox recent price hikes and way too many people wanting to fuck the Grinch. Yo. Sorry, excuse my French. Wanting to... Sorry. People shut the acceleration price hikes and way too many people wanting to the Grinch. There you go. Appreciate you. Originally released $700, people. Originally released in 2023, The Grinch Christmas Adventures was a sloppy co-op platforming that few fans probably forgot at launch, but now it's back and updated and being sold as a new game with a new subtitle, Merry and Mischievous Edition. Yo, not sure how many people were clamoring for a new version of this Blood Grinch game, but it's here and just in time for Halloween. Fascinating. And one of the first games to be added to Game Pass after a massive price increase earlier this month. It explains how many users' reviews for game are dunking on the subscription service. Quote, $30 for a month, a game that looks like an awful 360 movie tie-in game. Ayo, you're a mean one, Mr. Phil. Nice. Be actually real Xbox. This. Man. Bro, you're telling me for $30 a month I get this? Yeah, I'm glad my Ultimate ends on 23rd. I got Battlefield 6 and multiplayer access, all I need. Laws, me wants $30 a month for this chunky... this chunky... $30 for this, cancel Game Pass.
30% high sky for for the Grinch is crazy. Raising prices, they better start pulling out games that aren't this. Well, these reviews make sense. People are mad about the price increases are lashing out beyond bad shovelware came right in the wake of it. I can't actually explain why there's so many horny reviews for this the Grinch platformer. Seriously, what the heck is going on? There's just some I found be warned all this not safe work. Oh, and first two reviews below our very first two reviews on Xbox and our website. So stories publication. Merry Christmas, kids. Quote, Grinch took my V card. He sat me down. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be interesting about that. Crusty. Grew 3 sizes, you're a mean one. Grinch. Interested. Goated. Grinch grew. Made me stole Lake's Lake. Gave me something. Anyway, I'm not sure what else to add to this. I guess this is what I get for reading the user reviews on Grinch's game. My bad, everyone. And this is what we get for reading your statements. Zach's funny. But you know what? It is, again, important that we see at the universe as it is reflected IRL. Because, yeah, the internet will do internet stuff. That is their whole shtick. So, again, you can make your legacy. You can clean it up. You can do whatever you want. But the universe will be the universe. Unless you're Masahiro Sakurai. Because Super Smash Bros. Creator, life inspires a manga. Let's go! This is Alex Mateo over at Anime News Network. There you go, I did it. Smash Bros. Game director, Caribbean director Masahiro Sakurai confirmed on Twitter on Thursday that his life story is being inspired into educational manga titled Manga de Shiro Hito to Shigoto Sakurai. Masahiro game de sekai wo moto tanoshiku learn about people and work through manga. Masahiro Sakurai. Making the world more fun with games. The book will launch on September 18th, 2 days before the release. Sakurai is coming Kirby Air Rider sequel for the game on the Switch 2. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Hell yeah. Manga covers Sakurai's childhood with games versus Kirby. Anyways, in the beginning of Super Smash Bros., Sora's limited its founding and its legacy looking towards the future. Sakurai is listed as supervisor East Press, publishing a 160-page book. Sakurai from his own company, Sora Limited, in September 2005. Through his studio project Sora, he created Kid Icarus Uprising. Nice. A game for 3DS in 2012. His entry is Super Mario Bros. Crossover Series, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Ship for Nintendo Switch in December 2018. Game includes all the previous playable characters, supports 8-player battles. On August 2022, Sakurai launched his YouTube channel, game about development, titled Masahiro Sakurai on Creative Games, styled after Sakurai Presents video presentations. In his finale video, Sakurai explained that while waiting for his new team to be assembled, he decided to start a YouTube channel until his most recent videos. He had filmed all his footage of his channel for 2.5 years ago. Sakurai teased a 46-minute finale special for the YouTube channel in October 2024 that he had received a request to write game proposal in 2021, but he finished at lightning speed. He was able to move forward with the production team of Brains starting in 2022, but he needed to associate an assembled team. Thus, he started planning his YouTube channel game about development during that time. He stated that assuming that his game able to get made, he announced that, quote, sooner or later, Japanese government and received for the third award Sakurai with the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, Technology, Arts, Encouragement Prize for the 75th Annual Awards. Give this man a Nobel Peace Prize medal because look at this dude. The man who created conflict in a childhood household. Give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Because yes, somehow Smash Bros. Define generations. Generations, multiple, right? And yeah, man, you think about how he was able to bring everyone together. Literally, I think about the times that I've gone to Mexico and my families, who's again, I don't contact, right? I don't necessarily associate with them. All gathered in the den for all gathered in the den for the Smash Bros. Hey, well, I mean, fair enough. And we got to know each other through like the gameplay styles, how we go through it, and it is a weird, cool vibe, and it means something because that is generational. And for this dude to be come around and just be like, listen guys, I'm gonna show you how it's done. That is so freaking cool. And he doesn't like charge, and he's not potato. He put it on YouTube. He's now making a book that you can like associate with and read and learn more. And that is very impressive. That is the legacy he has decided to leave behind. That is what we're gonna have in the future. It feels good to know that there is people that are generally interested in this that might learn something different, and I think we need more of that in this time frame because thinking how things have reflected in gameplay developments and just recent days, it makes sense that the best of us aren't gonna be around forever. So why not leave behind thoughts behind? That's something that I keep on thinking about. So keep doing it, Masahiro. I believe in you, Chief. Godspeed. Whoa! Except, unless you're Pokemon. Because they took the bait. Pokemon leaker insists they deliberately hosted hacked images to draw the Pokemon company's legal attention. And confirm details of unannounced games are legitimate. They are real. Vamonos! Owner of high-profile social media account dedicated to sharing Pokemon leaks has boasted having numerous images removed from Pokemon company today in response to copyright claims. They say the only proves that leaked details are legitimate. Copyright removals now have hit a long list of posts by Central Leaks. The infamous Pokemon Terra leak of data originally hacked the servers of developer Game Freaks last year. While not the source of the Terra leak itself, Central Leaks has played a pivotal role in publicizing its content, sharing images, beta builds, to uploading details of unannounced games. Neither Nintendo nor Pokemon Company have responded to IGN's request for comment. Funny enough, they took the bait. Leaks posted this morning, stating that Pokemon Company was behind removal of numerous images that appear to deal in upcoming projects, including next year's announced highly anticipated Gen 10 Switch 2 games. Mr. Tako Utsunomiya, the chief operating officer of Pokemon Company, has personally sat in emails to Central Leaks to take down Pokemon images. Now, the post account shows later sharing what appeared to be a formal demand of long list of posts to be removed and contain copyrighted works, illustration, to characters from Pokemon video game series, reproduced, distributed to the public without our permissions. End quote. Details of further set to Pokemon's company coming to Legends DNA $20 DLCs are among the images that have been removed. The account noted, quote, I guess Game Freak also confirmed that returning Pokemon listed in Legends ZA DLC is real, Central League said. Sure, these guys. I won't click on it, but there they are. Other removed images include concept art and early screenshots purported to show various recordings of upcoming Pokemon projects, including the 10 games, the Pokemon Legend title, and the Vicious Sunny concept Pokemon. Attention in Central Leaks has been widespread. Fan art has already started to spring up Pokemon. However, IGN has said previously that we're treating all details leaking online this week as a measure of caution. Nintendo, Pokemon Company, had previously attempted to track down culprit behind Terra Leak, and certainly not much success, judging from the huge spread of future details online this week. Central Leaks accounts does not seem particularly concerned by either company, despite the infamously litigious nature. I almost had a stroke there. At the time of the writing, the most recent update, Central Leaks account is tweet post 2024. Review in progress, blah 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 blah. So, what does this mean? This means that while you could be in the same platform as the legend, Masahiro with his Smash Bros, literally, right? He's a playable character. You could really mess it up. And that comes in the form of not caring for the people who care about your product, which means that when certain people buy stocks in the company and decide to, well, now we want to operate things this way, people notice. And it's easy to not believe that. Trust me, I feel it. Trust me, I'm part of it sometimes. But there is a wave of change, and there is a feeling out there, and there are certain people that are doing the matrix shit of, like, you know, doing the stuff. So if you have ever felt that Pokemon has dropped the ball, or something has changed, or something's different, or like you missing something, you're not alone. Definitely, you are not alone. So hey, keep it up. Let's see what's up with that, because legality is reality. Let's find the other side. It's by Kenneth Shepard. Pokemon Company is putting legal smackdown on leaks. We just talked about everything that happened, but hey, don't worry about it. They are getting serious about it. Central Leaks. Terra Leak happened last year. No, having a big week. Callous, mentioning different dump. Account, plus Pokemon Leaks sprout up. Places like 4chan or Discord claims that TCP Okoko that ultimately has contacted X about multiple copyright infringements. We talked about that. Good joke. Jump scare. Talk about this too as well, lawsuits. But the legacy, what we do, how we create, how we believe, and again, we met some people at Universal's lot, right? And one of my favorite pieces is that Assassin's Creed chain that I wear because it just represents a lot. But it represents a lot of what it used to be. And I understand that. So what it used to be. Quote, Assassin's Creed boss breaks silence on leaving Ubisoft. Quote, I did not make that choice. Wow. Mark Alexis Cote refutes Ubisoft's claims that he left the master franchise by choice. This is by John Walker over at Kotaku. 3 days ago, Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed head honcho Mark Cote was leaving the company. Mark Cote has chosen to pursue a new path elsewhere outside of Ubisoft. Quote, he said a spokesperson at the time. Except now Cote is suggesting that's not how it went down. That he was in fact, quote, asked to step aside. Mark Alex Cote has been running everything Assassin's Creed for almost 2 decades, overseeing a vast number of games and an enormous franchise. But it also been to a tumultuous time of change for the cash-strapped Ubisoft, leading to March's announcement of a major business relationship with Tencent, in which the French company took a 1.5 billion bailout from the Chinese firm. Damn, son. This led to the announcement of a new co-owned subsidiary that would take over the production of Assassin's Creed, eventually announced a couple weeks ago back at Vantage Studios. The joint venture was created to take over the running of Assassin's Creed franchise. His name revealed just a couple weeks ago. This week, according to BGC, an international memo was sent to staff from Vantage's from CEOs Charles Guillermo to catastrophe dinners during the Cote was, quote, offered a role as part of Vantage Studios leadership, but declined. Following the organizational reconstructing announcement in March 2025, Ubisoft told IGN in a statement, quote, Cote has chosen to, we see that. Elsewhere outside Ubisoft, while we are sad to see him go, we're confident that our talented teams will carry forward the strong foundation he helped build, end quote. Wow. But Cote has now taken to his LinkedIn page to claim a very different version of events. Quote, the past 24 hours have been deeply emotional. The statement began sharing that people's messages sent to him have meant a great deal. However, he noted that recurring theme in those messages were people surprised that he had, quote, chosen to leave Assassin's Creed, quote, especially given the passion I still hold for it, quote, except he says, quote, that's not what happened. The truth is simple, I did not make that choice. Reading between the lines, Cote's post, it seems that the role was offered by Ubisoft was more like a demotion. Ubisoft decided to transfer the leadership of Assassin's Creed franchise to someone closer to a near organized structure. To the former boss, quote, a different position was mentioned, but it did not carry the same scope, mandate, or centrality with the work I had been entrusted with in recent years. Insisting he holds no resentment and still greatly values his time at Ubisoft, Cote unequivocally in this position. Quote, I also owe it to my teams, past present, to say this plainly. I did not walk away. I stood at my post until Ubisoft asked me to step aside. Often when long-term leadership or let go, companies will issue statements suggesting that it was amicable, not just to save face, but to offer a person leaving the dignity of not looking like they were fired. And it seems like technically true that the staff were told he was offered a leadership role, just one that wasn't a job he had for 20 years, and he still wanted to continue. Similarly, Ubisoft's statement to IGN isn't an outright lie, just ambiguous enough to suggest the decision was Cote's rather than its own. It's true that after not wanting to take it lightly, the motion he did choose to pursue a new path elsewhere, it's clearly designed to make everything seem a lot more amicable and positive than it really was. The consequence of that certainly did not work out in Cote's favor. Okay, that's a lot of behind the doors, behind the walls, whatever you want to call it, information. But again, this is important to know about because these meetings happen behind closed doors, and seeing this guy get pushed out is very reminiscent of Japan, where they have either give you a new position where you essentially are left in your box all alone and until you quit. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a legit thing. They expect you to walk away and they give you nothing to do, so you're bored. And that seems like something that like this. But obviously, I'll be real, if you've seen the last couple of years of Assassin's Creed, then you know that things have not been what they need to be. So is it someone's fault? Is it also like a time to change things, or there's to be a change? You know, the definition of insanity is same thing over and over, expecting different results. But we'll see, man. You know, time's up. Hopefully he had a good time. And we just, again, it's just noting how things are rapidly changing and who's taking over and what is happening with everybody, blah, blah. It's different. It's rough. You have to really, really figure that one out. And I'm going to keep my eye very, very close on this series because, again, this means a lot to me, at least the idea. You know, long live the Creed. right? Because people don't see things they like. What? Quote, people don't see things, but they like to talk poop about it. Flash director reflects on the DC box office bomb. Speedrun. This is by Yesley. I don't want to spend too much time on this because he's kind of a potato head. And Andy Muchkujuju has defended DC Extended Universe box office bomb and seen people like to talk about it. 23 superhero film is admittedly carried to a flop, pulling 271 million worldwide. Distraction 1, Defunct 2, Games Done superhero reboot DCU. With a new interview with the latest promote It prequel series from Derby, Mission 2 Intended Flash was a good movie. Some of his criticisms are from people who haven't seen it. A lot of people did not see it. He said, "We know how things are these days. People don't see things. They like to talk about it, and they like to jump on bandwagons. They don't really know. People are angry for reasons that are unrelated to things. Something to acknowledge the impact of original off-screen controversies. Of course, we had a public crisis with theirs. That's undeniable," he said. I'm not questioning that, but yeah, we love the movie and we actually recommend it. Continuing again, we love the movie. You know, we give it our blood, sweat, and tears all the way to the end. We watched it like a week ago. I love it again. Wow, like a week ago. Wow. Failed to appeal to 4 quadrants. Movie industry team. We need to appeal to everyone, and that's justifies $1 million budget. Flash failed among the other reasons because it was a movie that appeared to all 4 quadrants. Failed at that. Said, when you spend $20 million making a movie, Warner Bros. Wants to bring in more grandmother, even your grandmother. Quote, I found private conversations that a lot of people just don't care about the Flash's character. Practically 2 female quadrants, and all that is just going against the film. The 4 quadrants. That's an interesting thing to note. Write it down. As defined by Hollywood, are males under 24, males over 24, females running toward females over 24. Makes sense. What just was mentioned of the other reasons Flash felt like referred to poor critical reception, including the recent deceased actors. Oh shit, without consulting the family. Wow, its placement towards the end of now defunct film universe, the controversy surrounding Riddler seemingly stopped DC from keeping whistling around. However, as he reportedly directed Brave and the Bold, first Batman film in James Peters' reference in the universe. Wow, he's directing Brave and the Bold. That sucks. But we'll see. Sounds like the dude has issues, and that might come around. But all I really will say about the Flash is I was in San Francisco, I think, at the time, and I got tempted to go check it out because I think it was like one of those IMAX screens that had like all the good shit out there, and I went, and I missed out like on the event, like a meet event or whatever. And honestly, dude, I will never forget fucking that up. I'm sorry that I missed your meet event, but the truth was I fell asleep watching The Flash. You can quote me on that. 2023, 2024, whenever this movie came out. Oh shit, 2023. Oh shit, it was 2023. I'm sorry, friend. I love you. Bye. Battlefield 6 reverts big change after just 40 hours due to intense backlash. Starting tickets in Conquest mode are now going back to 1,000 after fans yelled at EA for 2 days straight. Santo! By Zack Swain over Kotaku. What happened? Devs behind Battlefield 6 announced the game's most popular mode, Conquest, would be tweaked in a big way to potentially lead to shortened matches. The change was universally hated by online Battlefield community. Now, just 48 hours later, EA reversed course and continues to provide tweaks to promise to the online FPS. Battlefield 6 launched in 2 weeks, massive sales, high-end numbers, making it already one of the most successful entries in long-running fixing and come with right maps, tweaks, movements, and more. But among many changes, one called the Reddit social some guard. Boom. No boy, people were mad about this change for not familiar reason. Conquest. Okay, got it. People are all about Conquest. Zoomers and Battle Dads were over movement between devs looking for somewhere in between. Young Blood, despite Michael Cripp over at IGN. How much is this? That's a lot, kid. Okay. No, fuck, you can't just fucking sing like that. Jesus Christ, fucking Sinister Gates, what is wrong with you, homie? Sorry, that was Matt. Whatever his name is. Not a AAA series game movie at the center to play the games of an hour. Oh, go on a flight, go, bro. Content creator X replied, if you want moving in your shooter, go play Call of Duty, Battlefields, a different kind of game. This is where the line in the sand remains for fans today. Now, much later, launch has come and gone, while many of those same Battle Dads and others feel movement is right. Those on the Zoomer side are now asking for other 6 movements nerfed and reverted. As pointed out, PC Gamer BF Studios is somewhere in between. Nice principle game designer Florian Lee remains active on social media and players per se have best path. Quote, we won't go back open beta movement speed. We're working on some slight adjustments that will help some parts that feel a bit clunky. We asked for proper return to Battlefield 6 movie and Republic Agency build earlier this week. We'll share more about that as soon as we can. Zoomer crowds on the edge of the seats waiting to see just how close they can get to return to fast-paced 6 movement they enjoyed. Battle dads aren't quite as enthusiastic, while some share fearing overcorrection. My main concern is that they'll overadjust again, just like what happened with Battlefield 2042. They went from massive maps that felt too open to mostly smaller mid-sized ones that only total overcorrection. Don't repeat the same mistakes. Movement and dice. We'll have to wait and see how substantial upcoming movement changes happens. So that's important because again, we have two different generations. One people who are used to 60 frames or 30 frames, and the other group who was used to 120 frames, right? And that makes something. That means something because I still buy first-person shooters, third-person shooter games. I buy RoboCop for this guy, and I put it in front of him. I'm like, here, dude, try it out. He does not understand the camera movement and just what that means in game. He's getting there because it's RoboCop. He was almost there. But he really chugs along enough where someone like me who likes to sprint everybody everywhere is like, dude, you are slugging. So it's important to note that different minds, different places, what we're used to, what they're used to, what their limits are, and if there is a in between. My idea would probably be that depending on what gun you get, depends on how fast you can be. So make it related to the gun and your equipment, so you can switch in and out. Maybe give yourself a pistol and you can blast it, and then when you pull out your assault rifle, you're a little bit slower. That's your in between. So you can take one to the boomer bank. Yeah. But it's important to know why. Why is everything so different? Now, I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to be that guy. I just want to admit that things are happening and certain people are interested, and this is a new territory. We're not used to this. So where we go from here is very important. How we start changing is very important. Well, the things that we do define us, and all is going to be hopefully for the better. So let's find out. EA Saudi Arabia buyout faces fresh backlash from senators and developers. The deal is set to net Wall Street banks $500 million in fees alone. That's by Ethan Gotch over at Kotaku. Richard Blumen and Elizabeth Warren have called on the Treasury Department on his brakes on Saudi Arabia's private equity buyout of Electronic Arts over security concerns, including the deal giving a foreign country unfettered access to, quote, sensitive consumer data. There you go. That's very important. They've demanded an investigation into the risk associated with the unprecedented agreement, which is expected to earn $500 million when fall for banking partners involved in fees alone. Quote, we urge you, the committee, to apply searching for scrutiny for this unprecedented proposed foreign privatization of a major American technology and entertainment company that requests that you provide the Parliament Subcommittee of Investigation and Senate Committee on Banking, Housing and Urban Affairs information how CFIUS Committee of Foreign Investment on the United States plans to ensure that the national security risk arising from proposed acquisition may be mitigated. Quote, Democratic senators wrote in a letter to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this weekend. He goes on to outline some of the concerns. Control over operations are extended to influences, directing companies' designs, featured product decisions to advance Saudi government-specific long-term projects. As PIF would be well-positioned to dedicate veto what stories are told to Americans through the popular media and video games, controlling narratives in U.S. history, culture, and so on. Saudi government Arabia's ability to exert its influence through EA would offer the authority and regime an effective tool to project power in worldwide. And analysts observed, quote, Saudi Arabia clearly recognizes the potential cultural influence of video games, especially among young people, end quote. In addition to asking for guarantees from the Trump administration that is investigated in national security risks associated with TO, how to mitigate them, the letter also calls for information about the communities. The Treasury Department had with Jerry Kushner had a buyout announcement. Trump's in-law is one of the members of the consortium that's acquiring a prior to reporting claim he has connection to the president would be instrumental in helping it avoid regulatory scrutiny. EA is not a struggling company. United Video Game Workers, Direct Joint Wide Video Games Union Commission, Communications Workers of America has also called for regulations to investigate the threat of mass layoffs associated with the acquisitions. Quote, if jobs are lost due to close due to this deal, that would be the choice, not a necessity made to pay the investors' pockets, but to strengthen the company. The group wrote in a statement on Thursday. It continued, we are quote, calling regulators, elected officials to scrutinize this deal, ensure that any path forward protects jobs, preserve creates freedom, and keeps decision-making accountable for the workers who make EA successful. Quote, group has now circulated a petition for fans to developers to write the Federal Trade Commission's board to investigating terms of the deal more closely. While the CWA has made major inroad unionization game workings at Microsoft-owned studios thanks to the Sunset Charlie agreement, organizing efforts has yet resulted in union shops at places like EA leverage buyouts to say complete sometime in 2027 could be the cause for terms of responder statement and other EA institutions to seek union membership. If $100 million windfall for Wall Street. While the exact terms of the buyout are still unknown, Bloomberg reports that the banking partners involved are said to make a small fortune just from the fees associated with it, roughly $20 billion and $55 billion acquisitions with debt finance, with JP Morgan organizing the loan. Damn it, Chase! Why? Bloomberg calls it the biggest debt commitment ever by a single leader of a LBO leveraged buyout. That's a lot of risk for EA, which would need to begin serving high interest rates on the debt of part of the deal, and it's led to fears the new round of mass budget cuts and staff layoffs will follow as merger proof. While some analysts have argued that going private could free the publisher to pursue longer-term creative visions, it would just as well be an anchor that makes it even more cash-hungry than ever. Banks, on the other hand, could make out either way. Anyone helping JP Morgan underwrite the debt will be in line for a piece of roughly $500 million in banking fees that Bloomberg estimates will deal bring in. EA's C-suite will also be in position for premium payout on those stock awards over the years. Most of EA's employees, on the other hand, will be rewarded with fresh fears of layoffs. And yeah, that's that. So, yay, we're so happy that EA and Battlefield 6 are doing well. But in the Backstreet Boys, Saudi Arabia has bought out a lot of those shares, and they're gonna start implying their will, quote unquote, in our video games. And if that's not something that bothers you, or if that's not something that makes you go like, wait a minute, then yeah, man, because that's where we're at. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to be more cultural, and I'd love to learn more, and I'd love to be cool about things. But this is a serious matter, especially when it comes to video games, and especially when it comes to setting precedents, cough, cough, wheeze, wheeze, orange, annoying orange, setting precedents on how we accept things and how we present ourselves in the future and what we're allowed to do in terms of like throwing these things away and throwing lives away. And honestly, man, if not us, if not now, if not in our time of internet connectivity, then when? So let me tell you, AI is ready. A popular Doom engine now has AI written code in it now, and everyone's mad. Quote, some people just want to touch the stove even when they should know better. Doom. Shit. This is by Claire Jackson over at Kotaku. If you dabbled at all in playing the original Doom or Doom 2 on PC, you've likely used GZ Doom before. It's one of many source ports, the original Doom engines out there. Some ports are now more suited for multiplayer, others are more modern featured, like jumping and free look heathens. GZ Doom is arguably the most popular after 20 years of history and Doom modding scene. Fair enough. A fork in a previously popular Z Doom, it was published by Christopher Elkins known as Graphs in 2005. Graph's reputation was seen as somewhat a feather ruffler, sometimes described as an elitist, prone to rash actions, and the latest of which was sticking some ChatGPT written code into GZ Doom as well, and it's going down as well as you might expect. GraphZol on using AI written code? Fuck it. GraphZol on using AI written code. It. GraphZol, quote, it justified uses as AI written code in an amusing exchange on GitHub, rock, paper, shotgun, saying in response to someone taking an issue with it. Everybody's using AI for boilerplate code these days. Those who act as unreasonable as you did here will lose out in the end and be ridiculed. I don't know what boilerplate is, but you might have to Google that. It sounds intense. This silliness follows the public declaration of GZ Doom's Discord that has some folks working on the project leaving their work on GZ Doom behind, start work on a new fork using Doom, which aims to carry over Doom beloved features. Unsurprisingly, conflict with Doom's lead developer maintained all spark discussion. Oh my god, please no! Spare GZ Doom from the drama. A non-locked post over at RM Boosters gives further insight into how Zol's actions have gone over with the community. Quote, God, please no, spare drama. Reads one voice, speaking to the frustration over the inclusion of the code and inevitable back and forth internet debates likely to spawn from any discussion of AI LLMs. As one comment thread documents, the LLM added code was rejected, and it's safe to say that the only versions of the port that have this wonky code are the latest dev builds, meaning current public releases are likely still AI free. Nice. Who knows how long that'll last though? Might sometimes consider a new source support for your WWADs. I don't know what any of that means, because I'll be real with you. I do not pay for OpenAI, or whatever you want to call that. But if you're telling me that someone got Tron AI, OpenAI, Tron, put them inside the Doom universe and said, create your own hellhole, then I kind of get it. Especially if you think about how AI has a tendency to hallucinate. If you don't know about it, Google AI hallucinations, and that's the thing. Just TLDR, if you get spooked out and psycho out, or if your emotions get the best of you sometimes, apparently AI has that too. So, stay safe. Now, I'll throw this one out. I just came from Universal Horror Nights. I know, it's 50 freaking thousand times. And I've experienced what it means to, like, throw yourself into the fire escapes and expect to come out the other side, or to harden one's mind to be like, wow. So there might be a universe where this program, Tron, reads all this and goes like, damn son, I'm gonna be the best gamer out there, right? Anything can be used for good. But it also concerns me when you can get this code, put it inside one of Musk's bots, and go storm, the Doom world, quote unquote, the universe. And yeah, that becomes a problem. So again, what we do, how we do it, how we carry ourselves, and how it becomes in the future really, 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 really is going to have to be one of those things. So, damn. Doombots. Doombots are a thing, confirmed. 2027. Believe it, y'all. But hey, if you didn't know, if you didn't hear that sick guitar in the background, let's go, baby. We do a little fun here. I actually really enjoy our time playing music. And believe it or not, we missed out on a lot in the very beginning because of music, the cables and blah 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 blah. So I'll tell you what, if I get in the vibe, if I get in the zone, we'll just go through the whole set list one more time. But maybe we just do what we originally planned to do. So interesting things. That was a fun little news segment. Those are nice. I do like learning things, and I think it's a very valuable to know what's going on, especially with this AI in this ever-changing universe. Technology, it's very fast. Please keep up with it. So let's say hello to our friend. Bueno. Alright, fun. So, yeah, I'm thinking we can do the whole set list because fun. Learn music for funs. Let's go. I'm ready to eat. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun when I sing. It's alright. It's too soon. But darling, it's been a cold and hardly winter. Little darling, it feels like years since I've been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. When I say it's alright, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since I've been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. When I say it's alright. Sun, 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 come. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun. Slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. When I say it's alright. Here comes the sun. Bueno. All right. So a little bit of that old stuff, right? That's kind of what the vibe was there. Old stuff, new stuff. You can tell clearly wanting to rush the beat because that's my angsty vibe. But hey, Beatles, classic, right? Of course. Vibes. Vibes. We'll see. Someday you will die, but I'll be close behind, follow you into the dark. No blinding lights, tunnels to gates so wide, just our hands clasped so tight, waiting for a moment of a spark. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul in bond, then I'll follow you into the dark. Vicious as Roman room, I got my knuckles bruised. My lady in blood, I held my tongue as she told me, son, fear is the heart of love. So I went back, that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the notes on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when you're so in bond, then I'll follow you into the dark. You and me, seen everything to see, make out to count your ring, and the sorrows of As a promise, because we sucked in the beginning. Kind of a or not. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to leave that one for next time. Because yeah, c'est la vie. Hey, have fun with that. Take care. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Until then, ciao. Matane. Isn't life hard just to play my worries away? Here are all the things I got to remember, shying away. You'll be coming for you anyway, and in a day